Good afternoon. Today is Sunday, August 8th, 2021, and we are doing an interview for the Congregation Beth Jacob Oral History Project, and we're doing it on Zoom. I'm interviewing Norman and Marsha Lee Berkman. My name is Linda Lieb. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today. Can you please start by giving me your full name and family names and telling me how long you and your family have been members at CBJ?
I'm Norm Berkman and my wife here, Marsha Lee. We've been members since 1967. It sort of bridges over between 67 and 68, that period of time, because I moved here from Santa Rosa. So I moved first, and then Marsha Lee came along after that. And we became members immediately of what was known then as Temple Beth Jacob.
Right. Okay. So you moved from Santa Rosa, and what influenced your decision to join CBJ or TBJ at the time and not some other congregation?
Well, we wound up moving to Redwood City, and at that time, we felt it was a conservative congregation that we were interested in. My background has been with conservative congregations in the past, and we felt it was close, and we had young children, and from a standpoint of the religious school, it was more easily available. And Rabbi Teitelbaum was the rabbi of the congregation, and he basically influenced us to join.
Norm joined before I was finishing a graduate degree in Santa Rosa. And so I waited to come down with the children. He had been here, as he mentioned, about a year. And I just took it for granted that we would join a congregation. And here we are, many years later.
So how old were the kids when you moved?
Oh, gosh, about 2 and 4 or something.
No.
Were they older?
No, so 60, about 4 and 6.
4 and 6, okay. He's the numbers guy.
And Norm, how long were you down here before Marsha Lee joined you?
A year.
About a year.
About a year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that must have been tough, especially with little kids.
Yeah, it was hard, but Norman drove home every night.
I sort of commuted.
Oh, wow. That's a long drive.
Yeah.
I used to be able to do it in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm. So were you welcomed into the CBJ community?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you know people there here before you joined, or were you totally new to the community?
Totally new to the community. But at the time, there was an individual, Marty Bergman, I don't know if you've heard his name before or not, who's very, very active. He was a past president, and he was basically a recruiter type person. I think he was a salesman, but he was able to sell the congregation, and he just had a magnetic personality that helped us bridge the gap and become a member.
He was very warm-hearted and a very outgoing individual, and he made us feel welcome, and there was a path for us to get to know people easily. And we were one of the younger ones then, definitely younger. Yeah. It was, at the time, I thought it was a much older congregation. So we were one of the very young families.
That's a great way to get to know people, though, when your kids go to religious school together. Right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
great. So the synagogue has a history, and you have your own personal history with the synagogue. Which memories come to mind when you're thinking about CBJ?
I think foremost it's the people. The people really made the congregation. And we also became very close to the rabbi, Rabbi David Teitelbaum, and to the cantor, and to their wives, to Hans Kohn. So that's a great memory. And also I brought Isaac Bashevis Singer here for an evening, and that was very memorable. Especially when he said it's great to be in Tel Aviv. He was giving the lecture that he had given after he'd been in Israel. And so we never forgot that. Everybody laughed. And of course, he was forgiven because he was Isaac Bashevis Singer. That was memorable. Unfortunately, the fire was a memory that I wish we didn't have. So,
Yeah, and that was in 1979.
yeah. Trying to think. I think the people, the people, some were Holocaust survivors. Quite a few were Holocaust survivors. It was many were immigrants, some second generation, as we were. So those are some of our memories. Did you have any others? Or?
No, well, I mean, referring to the members, since it had a predominance of Holocaust survivors, they were sort of, bootstrap type people, and very vibrant, very opinionated.
Very volatile.
Very volatile.
Yeah, it was a very lively congregation. Very different from the way it is now. People seem calmer and totally different background, a lot of tech people, and yeah, quite a difference.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that take on it. That's
okay. Yeah.
Interesting insight.
A different perspective, and actually, when you have a chance to talk to different individuals in the congregation. I mean, when I came here, I was, within a very short period of time, approached by Marty Berkman to join the board, and I became secretary of the board, and I was sort of like the new kid on the block at that time, and that was my introduction into congregational affairs. I think at the time, Roy Lee was president and Herb Rosenbaum was vice president, and they were very interesting individuals, a little dogmatic, but very interested in the congregation and seeing that we move forward. And they were just, an interesting period of time. So, and that was, in the late 60s, I think in 1982, thereabout, I became congregation president. This was after the term of Fred Gilman, and we had rebuilt at that point in time. We were an interesting Fred Gilman, who was president who preceded me, was a Stanford physicist, and he basically took charge of the reconstruction. And I'd say he was probably one who knew where every nail was by the time the construction project finished. So from that point forward, I was then president. It was at a point where the congregation still had about $250,000 of debt left from the building.
Oh.
And the issue of the day was how to fund it. And there were those who were interested in having bingo at the temple. And bingo it was. And the money raised from it basically retired the debt that the temple had. We paid a price. If you try to walk into the social hall, it was a den of smoke. I mean, at a time when,
We didn't know
puffed
the
away.
dangers of smoking.
And
Wait, this was the early 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's interesting. So people were smoking indoors in the social hall.
oh yeah, it was a smoke-filled room. But that was, it got people coming.
So was
And,
that like on Sunday nights, or when would you do
I
bingo?
think it was during the week,
Yeah.
weekday.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
One who led it was Herb Rosenbaum, Dave Altman, and I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Dave Altman or not, and because he's probably 101 or thereabouts, 102. But he was a scientific individual and who knew all the scientific sides of bingo. He applied his science and his chemistry, but that worked. And so that was probably one of the highlights of my term as president, along with the celebration of David Teitelbaum's, I think it was around his 25th anniversary,
Hmm.
being the congregation president. And, through those years, you had the normal things that if I went to a board meeting today, I would still hear today that I heard then. And in many respects, things haven't changed, although things have changed.
I think what was also has been memorable for me was Rabbi Teitelbaum's sermons and his intellectual classes that he gave. It was very important to me. He really influenced me. Eventually, not with him, but in Rabbi Esri's first year, I celebrated my bat mitzvah.
Oh.
And I went on to get a Doctor of Science in Jewish Studies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a long period of growth, but Rabbi Teitelbaum's sermons were outstanding, and Friday nights, Friday evenings was a very special time. He would give his major sermon then, and the women who were not working outside of the home, I want to stress, they were definitely working inside the house, put on a beautiful Oneg Shabbat. And so it was a very big social time.
Huh. So was there like a bigger turnout on Friday nights than on Saturday night?
It was
a major social evening.
Oh, wow. That's interesting how that's shifted over the years.
And as I say, David Teitelbaum gave a superb sermon, and the women poured tea and coffee, and none of that happens anymore. And they had their gift shop, and they had the sisterhood, and the men had their men's club, and the Tallis and Tefillin on Sunday. And then I'm sure you've heard about the Henry Rabin Minyan on Wednesday.
Mhm.
And Henry was also, he was very outgoing, and he did a lot of auctions. We were saying that we bought beautiful things at those auctions that Henry Rabin put on. So
Oh, were those items that people donated?
well, no, it was really nice art pieces and vases and from Tiffany's, and so he accumulated.
Well, he was in the auction business.
He was
and
in the auction business, so
he was
we-
able to
yeah.
access.
we accumulated some very beautiful things, even though I complained about those auctions.
Then he used the auction to auction off the Aliyahs for the
For the
hol-
high holidays.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Say that it was a very colorful congregation and a very colorful time. It's just a different makeup now.
Mhm.
Yeah, the composition has changed.
Totally, yeah.
That's interesting. How about personal
You-
milestones? Like,
You're interviewing us.
She's doing the interview. Linda's doing the interviewing.
how about what are your memories of religious school and B'nai mitzvahs and other milestone events at CBJ?
Well, our son had his bar mitzvah there. I'm not sure he was quite willing about it. And our daughter had her bat mitzvah. And then our 4 grandchildren all had their b'nai mitzvah there at the temple. So it's very special to us.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And how about Havara? Did you join one? Did you have a group of friends that you became really close to?
Joined the Havara, and for many people, it was a godsend and it was very nice, but it didn't quite work out for us.
Mhm.
So we didn't really continue it.
Yeah, Robin Teitelbaum was very instrumental
Yeah,
in the formation of the
the Hava Road, and they were wonderful, but it just didn't. We were very busy with a lot of other things, and
Sure.
so
But
we
it
didn't-
sounds like you were pretty involved in the, the
Yeah.
synagogue nonetheless.
very involved, and Norm was very involved in the San Francisco Federation and the Peninsula, and so forth. So we were both very busy.
Well, one of the things that we
Yeah.
did, in terms of our involvement, after our daughter's bat mitzvah, we sponsored a scholar in resident program that brought Jacob Tashima to congregation or Temple Beth Jacob. He was a Heschel scholar.
From Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
very
very
interesting.
unusual.
Very unusual.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then later, we developed, we sponsored Scholar in Residence weekends, brought scholars from all over the country. And we were also chair people for the then University of Judaism in LA, and brought scholars up here. And I was very involved in adult education.
There was a time when the congregation was very close to the University of Judaism, and the University of Judaism was new, relatively new, and they were always looking to gain inroads into the Northern California community. Rabbi David Lieber, who was the president of the university, who also subsequently is the one who edited the Eitz Chaim that we use every Shabbat. So there was a close affinity to the university, which sort of lost its way with us later on. But during a period of time, we brought educators from the UJ here, and they were major weekends, Sundays, programs that were well attended, and it was an important part of the community's life.
So how would you say that the celebration of holidays has changed over the years at CBJ, and even adult education, since that's an area that you were very involved in?
Well, holidays, that was a very, very big time. The choir, I remember the choir was really, I don't know if Hans was in charge of
Yeah,
the
Hans.
choir or his wife sang in the choir, Eva. But it was wonderful. I don't know, people dressed up beautifully, and it was major. And possibly we've lost a little bit of that, though. Outwardly at least. I think. Well, we mentioned.
Hans loved to perform.
Yeah, so he gave a lot of concerts.
Yeah, and the choir was a
adjunct
to what he was doing, even though he was the running the school. So he sort of had the combination.
He was running a little bit of everything. He was also very colorful, Hans. He was just a dear man. And as you know, he was from Germany and went to Shanghai with his family. And yeah, do you know of any other way that the holidays have changed?
That's probably the biggest
Yeah, yeah,
item.
yeah.
But I think the holidays have changed in the respect that we have more services today.
Yeah,
that reach
alternate
out,
services.
That reach
Yeah.
out to different segments of the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is a traditionalist.
Right.
And we look as different ways to serve the members. And I think that's probably the biggest difference from the 80s, 90s.
Right, like Dan Lehman's service, and
Yeah,
Bill has the teen services. Yeah.
yeah. There's that
Family service, and
Yeah.
so everything's. I don't want to say fragmented, but you don't have this massive crowd in one service.
Right.
Yeah.
Going back to the fire, what are your memories of learning about that and then rebuilding?
Well, we were there, so it was firsthand knowledge. It was a frightening time, and we took refuge in different churches, and Redwood City really opened its arms to us and
there was
raised funds for us,
there was
for our
a
congregation.
committee called the Redwood City Cares, and the congregation received a lot of communal support, and it was a major undertaking for the rebuilding.
Mhm.
It took a couple of years to do it, and during that period of time, we were at, I think, the Peninsula Covenant Church, I think on First Congregational Church, all in Redwood City. So it was a difficult time, since we weren't in one place. What else would you add to it?
Well, they thought it was arson. I think that Rabbi Teitelbaum had received some phone calls, and it was a frightening time.
Yeah, they had a number of threats.
Threats, yeah.
Oh,
And
just before the fire actually happened?
For the fire.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
I forgot to mention in memorable people, Bertie Zelver. Have you heard her name?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she ran the office and she really ran the synagogue. And I remember I became very friendly with her, and her daughter used to babysit for us, Ava. Bertie was just one of a kind with her high heels and her red lipstick, and she just was in charge of everything, and she was just a wonderful woman.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Was she part of the of helping to run the store? You mentioned that there was like a little gift shop, or was that a volunteer kind of thing?
That wasn't her.
No, the women volunteered to do that. But
What were the hours of the store?
everything, the store, when the religious school was
Yeah.
open, or Sundays. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought it would be nice to have one again, because sometimes you want to get something and it's just not, there aren't that many stores around where you can find Judaic.
No, you have to go online now. And well, we used to have Bob and Bob, but were you aware of Bob? Wonderful Judaica store in Palo Alto. But everybody started going online, and they finally closed up. And it was a community center.
Mm-hmm.
People would go in there and buy books, and beautiful Judaica. So
yeah, the internet has changed things a lot.
Yeah.
For better and worse, I guess. And so how about with the rebuilding? Did you have any involvement or any opinions about how it was done and how it came out? I think the building, it looked very similar to how it was before the fire, right? Or did they make a lot of changes?
They added the chapel.
That
Okay.
was a major addition.
And there was a lot of political controversy about the chapel, which turned out to be a godsend, that chapel. Because you could have alternative services, and it was a smaller place to gather. And as I say, many of the people were immigrants, and they were very careful with their money and with the synagogue money. And they thought it was a luxury that we didn't need to do anything.
Excuse me for 1 minute.
Sure.
Sorry.
That's okay. So you mentioned the chapel. You're not talking about the current one. This must have been a previous version, right? Because the current one was completed, in the mid, maybe like 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
Oh, the current one.
Yeah.
Yes. But we had one before that. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, after the fire.
What was that?
The chapel. I said there was a lot of controversy.
Yeah,
about, that was major controversy about the chapel.
Yeah, and one of the other major changes was the social hall. The previous social hall had a stage and all.
Oh.
And actually, Robin Teitelbaum, who was in theater prior to her marriage, put on a number of productions.
She had a children's theater workshop. Yeah, she did a lot. She was very involved, very involved. She put together the Chavarot, and she was very involved in the sisterhood, which became Beth Jacob Women.
Oh, okay. And now it's back to the sisterhood, right?
No,
I don't know if it is.
It's a women's group, but it's not a sisterhood.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So what 2 to 3 adjectives would you use to describe CBJ 40 years ago or 30 years ago versus now?
I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, I'm the wordsmith, but I don't know.
Well, we can come back to that. That's okay. So, what about, let's see. Oh, can you describe any friendships with other members that you've had over the years?
Oh, we've had wonderful friendships with other couples, and you know, when you worship with people, you become really close to them. So I would say the synagogue was really a second home for us, because we didn't have any family here. We had no relatives. We came out from the East. And as my husband mentioned, at first we were in Santa Rosa, and then we moved down here. There was more business opportunity for him. So we were really complete strangers, and we made wonderful friends.
Where back east were you from originally?
Syracuse, New York.
Huh. Did you find any people at CBJ that had connections to Syracuse?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
Well, Norm Stone.
oh, well, school-wise, but not living there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were individuals.
Yeah.
Not many.
Right. And so how has your involvement in CBJ changed at this point? Are you still involved? Do you still enjoy going to services?
We still go to services,
Try to go every week.
the traditional service. Our involvement, other than not serving on the board, we're, I think, instrumental because we've sponsored a number of scholar in residence weekends. I've been able, through different contexts, to find funding for and seed money for programs for the congregation. So I've always had I'd say a long-term involvement, not in the direct line of fire, but there, and being present for major items, major things that the congregation does.
Well, that's great that you've stayed connected all this time. And so how about what are your expectations or hopes for the future at CBJ?
Well, we have a great granddaughter now, so we're hoping that the future is good, and look forward to her bat mitzvah.
Oh, how old is she now?
6 months.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah, so she was a pandemic baby, and we hosted her and her parents this morning for brunch, and she's doing well. She's a ray of sunshine. Well, Rabbi Ezra has done a phenomenal job, and Bill has, and Rabbi Alana, and I see a bright future for the congregation. And we didn't know the rabbi before Rabbi Teitelbaum, but Rabbi Teitelbaum, as I say, was a very close friend of ours, left a beautiful legacy. And Rabbi Ezra has built on that and honored it.
That's great to hear.
He's brought his own special quality, which is different. And he's very hands-on, Rabbi Ezra, and I really enjoy services very much so.
And now they've resumed.
No, the wall that honored Rabbi Teitelbaum and Cantor Cohn and Ruth Shapiro, the words that are up there are the result of my wife.
Yeah, I wrote those. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh yeah, those are beautiful. Really, really beautifully done.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, I worked on that, and I would say we're very involved. We feel very close to the congregation still, and that has never wavered.
What do you think about how services have continued during the pandemic?
Oh, I just honor the people who, I mean, Rabbi
Yeah.
Ezra.
They've done a
and Bill.
phenomenal job.
Amazing, amazing.
To keep things together in an adverse situation. And fortunately, having something like Zoom available has enabled them to reach out to the congregation. And I think the congregation has responded by keeping things alive. And it's, call it a godsend. But they had to adapt to a new way of life. And it hasn't been easy, but they've persevered during this
Yeah.
this past year plus.
It's been very tough on everyone, and I just look up to them. I'm just admire what they have been able to do during this very difficult time.
I agree. I think the way things have changed so fast, it's been a real challenge. But with last year being all virtual, that was one problem. But now they have the hybrid one coming up, and that's possibly going to be more complicated. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
As I said maybe a couple of weeks ago to Bill after services, I said, I feel a lot better after services than I do when I come in right now. I mean, what I'm saying is they give me such a lift.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're fortunate to have the which was formerly the sukkah that
Oh,
was
yeah.
converted.
Yeah, that's it. The services are beautiful out there. And,
Yeah, and to have an outdoor facility.
yeah.
Yeah, being able to open that wall on that room, it's perfect for this situation. So,
Yeah, little did we know.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Let me look through my notes. I think we've covered everything. Well, I can't imagine our lives without the synagogue. I just think that they've given us a great gift.
It's been an important part of our life.
Well, it sounds like you've been a really,
Pardon?
I was just going to say, it sounds like you've been a really important part of the synagogue, and it wouldn't be the same without you. So
We hope we have.
They've supported us during tough times, and everybody has them at some point or another in their lives. And they've been there to celebrate for joyous occasions. So what more could you ask?
yeah, and let's hope there are more joyous occasions ahead.
Oh.
That's what we all look forward to, and we look forward to the synagogue making giant leaps and becoming a greater part of the lives of the Jews in this area. Over the years, the size of the congregation has been relatively similar. We haven't really moved into the mega numbers. We've always been in the 500 range, thereabouts, plus minus. So I think we fill a certain niche, and maybe we'll grow, and maybe we'll, but as long as we have a vibrant congregation, maybe mega numbers isn't what will make the difference.
we're still a small enough community. We know most of the people, though there are many young couples, and I have mentored in a Lador Vador program a number of the bat mitzvah, and I don't know if we've done any bar mitzvah, but I've enjoyed that immensely, and to me, that's the future.
That's a great program. Thank you for doing that. Were you able to do it this past year during the pandemic, or have they kind of taken a pause?
No, they haven't taken a pause. Well,
they're doing it, but we haven't done
well, we were involved with with one of the children, but they were actually mentored by someone else, but I worked with the boy because we know the family, and they asked me to. So yeah, we're still involved in that.
That's great. Yeah, I know that celebrations have changed for bar and bat mitzvahs, and they've found ways to make it really meaningful even online. So
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for participating in this project. I think it's going to be a wonderful resource for our members and future generations. And I feel like I learned a lot from you, and I appreciate everything you've done for the synagogue over the years.
Linda, thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
I know it's
It's a big
not always
job.
easy in getting in contact with everyone, but
Oh, it's a team effort. It's been fun because now, now when I see you around, I'll enjoy saying hello. And I look forward to meeting your family too, and your little one, was it great granddaughter or?
Great granddaughter.
Wow, that's amazing. I look forward to seeing her running around the synagogue in a couple of years.
So do I. I'm really looking forward to it. I won't complain at all.
Well, I hope to see you at services soon. Take care.
Sure.
Thanks. Thanks so
thanks,
much.
thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.